Hello, friends and family. I am Hans Abdullah. I'm a Malaysian sneakerhead, and this is a very special video because it's something that a lot of people wanted to see, but I was kinda hesitant to do it because I was saving it for when I ran out of content. But you see, Hans Abdullah kinda wants more views. So even though I do have content, I'm gonna push all that aside and do this video right now. This is Hans Abdullah's top 7 favorite shoes in his sneaker collection. Let's go! So I love all my shoes. I never really like to play favorites, but guess what? Just like your parents who tell you that they love all their children, they do have favorite children. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. This is the way of the world. We do have favorite sneakers. I think I am encroaching onto 250 pairs of sneakers in my collection, and among them I do have pairs that I love more than the rest. It's kinda hard to rank them, but I'm gonna do it anyway for this video. Let's go. Number 7 is bang! Sneaker number 7 are the Jordan 7 Miros. Now I'm about to do something that very few people would do. I'm about to tell you the size of all these pairs, and I'm about to tell you how much I paid for all these pairs. So get in for a ride, boys. This is momentous right now. So the story about the Jordan 7 Miros, the story about why I love them so much. It's kind of a sad story, but it gets uplifting in the end, kind of like most fairy tales anyway. I was in a very dark place, not literally, but figuratively. I was in a very dark place in early 2018. So I took a trip to Singapore just to have a little bit of time to myself. I never really had a solo holiday that way, so I chose a close by place to have my solo holiday. And in Singapore, I met up with a close friend of mine, Adi Zakbah. You see, I only talked to Adi online all this while. This was my first time meeting him in person. He knew I was going through some things, and he knew I've always wanted this shoe. I could never find it in my size, and even if I could find it in my size, it was never complete, and I could never find a full set. This was his pair. It's not my size, but this was his pair. And when I met him in the train station, I think it was Somerset Station, he had a paper bag, and in that paper bag was the Jordan 7 Miro. And he told me straight up, man to man, eye to eye. I felt something. My heart, we connected that moment. He was just like, hey man, these are for you. And I was like, get out of here, man. Nah, get out of here. There's no way. And Adi just looked at me straight in the eye again. He was like, nah, I'm serious. These are for you. Oh man, you know, I nearly cried. I mean, like, you're gonna hear that a lot. You're gonna hear that a lot in this video. Moments where I nearly cried. This is one of the moments where I nearly cried. I nearly lost my collective shit in a Singaporean train station. It was messy. It would have been very embarrassing, but it would have been a very proud moment in my life because Adi Zakbah gave me a pair of shoes which I was totally in love with. And as I speak, they are falling apart. There are crumbs here. There are crumbs here right now, and these are bits of memories right here. These are bits of memories. The only reason why this pair is not higher up is because they're not my size, so I can't really wear them. But that does not take away from the fact that these shoes mean the world to me. These shoes mean the whole planet Earth to me. And as for how much I paid for them, as I mentioned, they were a gift from Adi. Thank you so much. I still can't believe I own these. And the size, they're a US 10. And I wear 11.5 to 12 in AJ7s. On to the next shoe. Shoe number 6. Let's go. Bang! These are sneakers number 6. These are the Jordan 5 Shanghai Shens. Only 2,000 pairs made in the world. Really beautiful, really hard to come by. And the thing is, the beautiful thing about this story was, this pair is the first time I ever experienced, you know, the sneaker, the good side of the sneaker scene. You hear about negative things happening in the sneaker scene all the time. Well, this was my first actual instance of, man, the sneaker scene is pretty aight. It's pretty aight. I was all the way in Melbourne, and this pair was being sold by a good friend of mine, Mr. Nyap Ka Leong. But that time I wasn't really close to him. I knew of his existence, but I was all the way in Australia. So this pair was being sold in Malaysia, and I did not have the money to buy them. They were 2,000 ringgit. That's how much I paid for them. They were 2,000 ringgit. They're size 11. size 11, 2,000 ringgit. I did not have the money to pay for them. So I had a group of friends in Malaysia, super close. I still talk to them to this day. They are like the day ones, you know. They pooled together money and they bought it for me first. And I'm getting choked up just thinking about it, man. You see, that they bought it for me first, and it means a lot to me because you just don't get that that often, you know? You don't get people being that nice to you that often. It's amazing. It's, oh man, I can't exactly put it into actual words, but if you were to ask me about an example of positivity in the sneaker scene, this pair is a shining example of that. This pair is proof that, you know, sometimes a hobby can bring friendships that will probably, hopefully last a lifetime. That's why the Jordan 5 Shanghai Shens are my number 6. Number 5 on the list are these, the Jordan 3 Oregons in the white colorway. As long as I've been collecting sneakers, I've always been into the Jordan 3 Oregons. I don't know, it was just like, because when I first really started deciding I wanted to collect sneakers, I was looking at all these videos. I was looking at all these YouTube videos of like Perfect Pair, Mayer, you know, Ballin Twin. They always showcase all these Jordan 3s, and actually that's my favorite sneaker silhouette now, Jordan 3s, because of all these videos I watched from the start. And the thing is, the Jordan 3 Oregons always captured me, always captivated me. And a good friend of mine, Paul Bernard Xavier, he's like a brother to me. He knew how much I loved these shoes. He knew how much they meant to me. So one day, out of nowhere, he was just like, hey man, I got you this pair. And I was just like, what? He just said, yeah, I got it for you as a gift. And until now, he's like, I can't believe I did that for you. And until now, I replied to him back, I can't believe you did this to me. And I thank him. I really, really thank him from the bottom of my heart, from the deepest parts of my soul, from the edges of the galaxy that is the fragments of my brain. I thank him so much because, you know, without him, I don't think I will ever own this pair. It means a lot to me. It really does. And I don't know why I have a weird accent that keeps coming out. I don't have a weird accent. I'm Malaysian. I'm a Malaysian sneakerhead. But there's something about this pair that makes me oddly British. So yeah, it means a lot to me. These are a size 13. As I said before, I did not pay anything for them. They were a gift. They mean the world to me because they are one of my grails that I managed to acquire. And my god, every single time I hold these, there's a moment in me, there's a moment of disbelief in me every time I hold on to these. You know, every time I see them on my shelf, it's like, man, you know, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed to be taken care of really well in the sneaker scene. Sneakers number 4, the Jordan 3 Fire Reds. You see, these are my very first Jordans. I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of people ask me, how did I get the money to collect sneakers? And you know, everyone would want to hear the story of Hans hustling his way to getting a lot of sneakers, but I'm gonna tell you right now, that is not the case. So you see, I've always been into streetwear. I think I've been into streetwear for the past 11 to 12 years. But it's only like 5 years ago when I went to Australia did I actually have the money to buy Jordans, because Jordans are expensive. And when I went to Australia, what my mother did was she gave me a whole semester's worth of money in a lump sum. She just gave it to me in a lump sum and she said, do with it what you will. At that time, in 2013, the Jordan 3 Fire Reds came out and I was like, you know what, I'ma just buy them. I can afford Jordans now. So I bought these. They were 220 AUD, which equals to about slightly lesser than 700 ringgit right now. They're a size 11. I still fit them. They are beat up to hell because I wear them so much. Even if they were not my first Jordans, the colorway is just one of my favorites. The colorway is beautiful because I have a thing for white base shoes. I think you might have noticed a pattern right now. These check all the requirements in my head for best shoe. I love them. I really love them. These are perfect to me. And now, as we are entering the top 3, let me mention 2 shoes that did not exactly make the list. Honorable mentions, if you will. The first shoe to make the honorable mentions are Tang, the Big Sean's Pro Model Adidas. So among all my shoes, among all my 250 pairs of shoes, why are these a little bit special? Because they are autographed by Big Sean. They're autographed by the man himself, Big Sean. And I'm a ginormous fan of Big Sean. I love his music. He's one of my favorite rappers of all time. And the thing is, the only reason why this shoe is not higher ranked, why this shoe did not make the top 7, is because I really don't have a story for them. Someone hit me up on Instagram wanting to sell them to me. I bought them for 400 ringgit. They're my size. They're size 12. I bought them for 400 ringgit and that's it. That's the whole story. I don't have any story to them. That's why I can't justify them making into the top 7 list. Just because, yeah, there's not much story to go on there. Another shoe in the honorable mentions list are the Essex Nasi Lemak. I love these because I'm a Malaysian sneakerhead and this is a Malaysian shoe. Almost a Malaysian shoe. It's not made in Malaysia, I don't think so. It's made in Indonesia, so that's close enough to Malaysia, but that does not make it Malaysia. Why do I love these shoes so much? Because not only are they created by a few really close friends of mine over at Masses, but I just really like them. I wear them a lot. I wear them to dinner, I wear them to lunch, I wear them to badminton, I wear them to swim. Because COVID does not travel in water, that's what I heard. And these are a size 12, really hard to find. I have another pair, DS, kept on ice. Probably never gonna wear them because I'm probably gonna beat these up until the Nasi Lemak has expired. And then I'll probably think of cracking open the second pair. Moving on! Wait, how much did I pay for these? Retail. I forgot how much retail was. 500 something? 600 something? I don't know. Boom! Number 3 are the Jordan 7 Premios. The Jordan 7 bins, whatever you want to call them. I have 2 pairs of these. The second pair is up there somewhere, I think. I'm one of the fortunate people who can say that I own my holy grail. And the story behind how I owned my first pair was I was on a family trip in Tokyo and I went to a shop called Skit over in Kichijoji, one of my favorite sneaker stores of all time because they have a lot of old sneakers. And I saw this pair there and I remembered calling my mom and said, I want this pair. Can I use the credit card? Can I use my credit card? Because it was a supplementary credit card. I asked my mom, can I use the credit card? I will pay you back slowly. It's just I know that if I let this pair go, I will never find them ever again. And my mom was like, okay, sure, just pay me back slowly. So I made a deal with my mom and I swiped them, and I tell you, I haven't gotten as emotional for a pair of sneakers as I have with this pair right here. When I got them, when I bought them from the shop, I cried. I legit cried in the shop. The store owner until now remembers me because I was the guy that bought the bin 7s and cried in the shop. And my hands were shaking, I was like climbing, I was like, man, I was emotional because these were a pair of shoes that I thought I would never get to own. These were a pair of shoes that I thought would forever elude me. And it's ridiculous because I have a lot more rare shoes now. But back then, I was like, man, I would never ever dream of owning this pair. That's why they were my holy grail. And to be able to get them, it's like, I remember my mom told me after that. I remember my mom told me after that, you know, you don't have to pay for them. I'll just buy it for you. I'll pay it for you. I'll pay it in full. Because I rarely ask her for sneakers. This, I think, in total in my collection, there's only like 1 or 2 sneakers that she has bought for me. And this was the pair that I was like, this pair meant the world to me, you know? So, knowing that my mom actually bought me a pair, knowing how much it's meant to me, my mom went and bought me the pair, and she told me I didn't have to pay her back. So, that's why this pair means a lot to me. They're a 10.5. The price at that time was RM 3,800, which was an ungodly figure at that time. It still is. It doesn't make sense why sneakers are so expensive now. 3,800 is still a ridiculous amount to pay for a pair of shoes. And I managed to get these. And they're a size, these are a 10.5 and I can barely wear them. I can squeeze into them, but also I don't wear them just because of the sentimental value. So when my friend Nyap Kalyong decided to sell his pair, I had to get them, and that is the pair that I wear. I do not wear this 10.5 because this 10.5 just means so much to me. This 10.5 is this 10 I can't talk. This 10.5 is it's a physical manifestation of why I collect sneakers. You know, the joy of crying when you find something that you really like. It's immeasurable, it's immense. It's a feeling that comes from deep down that I don't think any other hobby can bring to me. Sneaker number 2, the Jordan 7 Olympics. Some of you might be surprised why these are ranked number 2. But because the thing is, these are my favorite sneakers of all time. The story was, really quick because my battery is gonna die. The story was, back in 2004, I was walking down Harajuku. You see, my family seems to go to Tokyo a lot. So I was walking down Harajuku and I saw this shoe in the shop window. I forgot which shop it was, and I remember going, man, I didn't know shit about Jordans back then. I didn't know anything about it, but this reminded me of a Gundam robot, because I was a kid. I was a young boy that was really into mechas, and I remember seeing, man, I didn't know anything about Jordans, but I fell in love. I fell in love so hard. I fell in love, like, you know, the dramas where you see one girl walking into the library and you just like, you know that scene? Yeah, that was me with these shoes. And there was no way that an 11-year-old Hans Abdullah was gonna be able to afford this pair. I only started buying Jordans when I was 21, but this pair kind of started it for me. And I remember in 2014, my sisters pulled together money and bought me this pair, this exact pair. They pulled together money and bought it for my birthday. I'm gonna tell you, that was emotional for me as well. I think it was 1,400 ringgit, which is kind of ridiculous to pay for a dead stock pair of Jordan 7 Olympics, but I did not know better at the time. I just knew I really wanted this pair. And I held on to that want for a good 10 years maybe. So when my sisters got me this pair for my birthday, I was over the moon. I was over the galaxy. I was on the edge. I was at Pluto, you know. This was amazing. This was an amazing moment for me. Up till now, I have 8 pairs of Jordan 7 Olympics, just because I have this thing where if I see a pair in my size that's DS, I will buy it. Like, if I could afford it, I'll just buy it. That's how much this shoe means to me. And now we go to number 1. The number 1, the top sneaker in Hans Abdullah's collection. His favorite sneaker, his favorite child, are the Jordan 3 soles. So see, why do I love this pair so much? Because it has a lot of story to me. The very first time I went to Korea was to line up for this shoe. I remember my mom coincidentally was flying there for a business trip, and she could get me a free ticket, so I just tagged along. I lined up for the shoe. It was like -7 or -11 dead of winter, and I lined up for, I think, over 10 hours, and I couldn't get a pair. It was ridiculous. So I bought a pair at StockX. The seller flaked on me because the price shot up for size 11. There's only 988 pairs made. A vast majority of that was the size 10.5 and below. I think I sent size 10 and below. So size 10.5 and above was just ridiculously hard to find. These are a size 11. I managed to get them eventually thanks to Paul Bernard Xavier. Shout out to my brother. The thing I love about this shoe is, like, take aside the fact that I'm Korea boo as hell, okay? Take aside the fact that it's a Jordan 3, which I love. The thing is, I always told people, my final goal as a sneaker collector is to get my own sneaker collab. That is just my final goal. That's like the end game. If I could ever design a shoe, it would look exactly like this. Like, Nike went up and created a sneaker that is something that I would have created. It's like a sneaker that came straight out of my dreams. I have a thing for red, white and blue sneakers. I have no idea why. These are amazing to me. Nike Air, perfect. You can't ask for anything more. The reason why they're my number 1 is because they're my dream shoe made to life. Like, now if I get the chance to design a sneaker, I don't even know what I'll design, because these are... It's already been done. The sneaker of my dreams has already been done. I'm gone. So these are a size 11, and I ended up paying RM 6,700 for them. Sounds like a hefty price. Check the price on StockX now. It's ridiculous. And I've said the word ridiculous too many times in this video, but that's exactly what it is, ridiculous. And yeah, that has been Hans Abdullah's top 7 favorite sneakers in his collection of all time. Leave a comment below if you liked the video. Share this out to your friends, because why not? Give us a subscribe, give us a like, and maybe I'll do more of these videos. Let me know what else kind of video do you want me to do, because I am open to do anything as long as it's legal and as long as I get to keep all my clothes on. That has been the video. I'm Hans Abdullah, I'm a Malaysian sneakerhead, and I'll see you in the next one.